So in this episode, Scootaloo finds a new fan club, which does make sense because eventually when Scootaloo is gonna get older, she is gonna find a new fan club to explore, and she's not gonna be as interested in Rainbow Dash as she was before. So the fan club that Scootaloo is interested in is called the Washouts. And the Washouts are completely different from the Wonderbolts. I mean, the Washouts do a bunch of crazy shit, a bunch of crazy tricks and all that, and it's just completely different from the Wonderbolts. And the leader of the Washouts is Lightning Dust. And the last time we saw Lightning Dust, she was completely reckless in the Wonderbolts, and she formed a tornado which almost killed the main six. And she returns in this episode, and she is still an asshole, by the way, in case you were wondering. I mean, I would even say that Lightning Dust is worse in this episode than she was in the Wonderbolts Academy, because in this episode, she is endangering the lives of a whole bunch of people in this episode, including Scootaloo. Now I want to talk about the ending of this episode. So at the end of this episode, Scootaloo doesn't really want to support the Washouts anymore because they are just completely reckless, and Lightning Dust is an asshole. And Rainbow Dash realizes that she has been making Scootaloo feel like she is not cool because Rainbow Dash thinks that the Wonderbolts are really cool, and she's been hyping them up. But Scootaloo cannot join the Wonderbolts because she cannot fly. So at the ending, they do the Scootaloo fan club, which I thought was sweet. Although, even though I thought the ending was good, I had a different idea for the ending. So here's what I would have done for the ending of this episode. So I would have replaced the Washouts entirely with a completely different team. I don't know what the team's name would be, but it would be completely different from the Washouts. So this team will have nothing to do with flying. There's no asshole leader, and this team is not reckless, unlike the Washouts. This team is completely safe. And the rest of the episode will be the same, Rainbow Dash gets jealous and all of that. Although the only difference in my version is that Scootaloo joins the team, and she still has an interest for the team, and Rainbow Dash just has to accept that Scootaloo has a new interest. So Scootaloo still supports the team, still has the fan club, and joins the team, and Rainbow Dash just has to accept Scootaloo's new interest. That's what I would have done. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is how Spitfire was in this episode. So Spitfire doesn't really have a lot of time in this episode. Spitfire was barely in this episode. But oh boy, the 1 minute that she had in this episode was absolute gold. I love Spitfire's rant in this episode. Spitfire was just absolutely hilarious. And it's crazy because Spitfire was barely in this episode, but she was so good in this episode at the same time. So you know what? Congratulations to Spitfire for making her 1 minute absolute gold. So overall, I'm going to give the Washouts a 7 out of 10. It's not a bad episode, but it's also not the best episode. So if you guys enjoyed this video, then click the other video right here. Or you can click right here if you want to subscribe and join the fun team. Peace out.